Okay. A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. So today is day 7, Monday, 4th of May, 2026. So we will have our evening chanting. Okay, we get Ingbi to help us. Yeah.
The evening chanting for the recollections of Dharma.
Yes.
I noticed that they say beyond timeless. Whereas the more.
No, should be time.
Oh, okay.
Beyond time.
So it's beyond time, huh?
Beyond time.
Let's be sure.
Beyond timeless means it's not the timeless. So it's a typo error. You make a note.
And also the morning chanting, while we're at it, page 9, it should be possessing the clear insight of wisdom.
Yeah.
The IN is missing.
Yeah. Okay, we start the evening chanting now. To the Blessed One, the Lord, who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he has expounded so well, and to the Blessed One disciples who have practiced well, to this the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we render our offering, our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generation. May these simple offerings be accepted for our lasting benefits and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. Bow. The teaching so completely expressed by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha. Homage to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Now let us chant the recollection of the Buddha. A good word of the Blessed One's reputation has spread as follows. Such indeed is the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly enlightened One, endowed with wisdom and virtues, the accomplished One, the knower of the worlds, the incomparable master or guide of those to be trained, teacher of gods and men, the enlightened One, the Blessed One. Now let us chant the supreme praise of the Buddha. The Buddha, the truly worthy One, endowed with such excellent qualities, whose being is composed of purity, transcendental wisdom and compassion, who has enlightened the wise like the sun awakening the lotus. I bow my head to the peaceful chief of conquerors, the Buddha, who is the safe, secure refuge of all beings. As the first object of recollection, I venerate him with bowed head. I am indeed the Buddha's servant. The Buddha is my Lord and guide. The Buddha is sorrow's destroyer, who bestows blessings on me. To the Buddha I dedicate this body and life, and in devotion I will walk the Buddha's path of awakening. For me, there is no other refuge. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. By the utterance of this truth, may I grow in the Master's way. By my devotion to the Buddha and the blessing of this practice, by its power, may all obstacles be overcome. By body, speech, or mind, for whatever wrong action I have committed towards the Buddha, may my acknowledgement of fault be accepted, that in the future there may be restraint regarding the Buddha.
Now let us chant in praise of the Dhamma.
Well expounded is the Dhamma of the Blessed One, can be realized in the here and the now, beyond time, beyond thought, inviting investigation, onward leading to the heart, Nibbana, can be understood by the wise each for themselves.
Now let us chant the supreme praise of the Dhamma.
It is excellent because it is well expounded, and it can be divided into path and fruit, practice and liberation. The Dhamma holds those who uphold it from falling into delusion. I revere the excellent teaching, that which removes darkness, the Dhamma, which is the supreme secure refuge of all beings. As the second object of recollection, I venerate it with bowed head. I am indeed the Dhamma's servant. The Dhamma is my Lord and guide. The Dhamma is sorrow's destroyer, and it bestows blessings on me. To the Dhamma I dedicate this body and life, and in devotion I will walk this excellent way of truth. For me, there is no other refuge. The Dhamma is my excellent refuge. By the utterance of this truth, may I grow in the Master's way. By my devotion to the Dhamma and the blessing of this practice, by its power, may all obstacles be overcome. By body, speech, or mind, for whatever wrong action I have committed towards the Dhamma, may my acknowledgement of fault be accepted, that in the future there may be restraint regarding the Dhamma.
Now let us chant the recollection of the Sangha.
Of good conduct is the order of the disciples of the Blessed One. Of upright conduct is the order of the disciples of the Blessed One. Of wise conduct is the order of the disciples of the Blessed One. Of beautiful conduct is the order of the disciples of the Blessed One. This order of the Blessed One disciples, namely the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 types of individuals, is worthy of offerings, is worthy of hospitality, is worthy of gifts, is worthy of reverential salutation, is an incomparable field of merits to the world.
Now let us chant the supreme praise of the Sangha.
Born of the Dhamma, the Sangha which has practiced well, the field of the Sangha formed of 8 kinds of noble beings, guided in body and mind by excellent morality and virtues. I revere that assembly of noble beings, perfected in purity, the Sangha, which is the supreme secure refuge of all beings. As the third object of recollection, I venerate it without hate. I am indeed the Sangha servant. The Sangha is my Lord and guide. The Sangha is sorrow's destroyer, and it bestows blessing on me. To the Sangha, I dedicate this body and life, and in devotion, I will walk the well-practiced way of the Sangha. For me, there is no other refuge. The Sangha is my excellent refuge. By the utterance of this truth, may I grow in the Master's way. By my devotion to the Sangha and the blessings of this practice, by its power, may all obstacles be overcome. By body, speech, or mind, for whatever wrong action I have committed towards the Sangha, may my acknowledgement of fault be accepted, that in the future there may be restraint regarding the Sangha.
Okay, we will chant the closing homage. Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Okay, thank you. You can be seated. Then we'll continue from where we stop. Page 44. Yeah, Wai-Fan, you continue. Yeah.
Brother Teo said, yes, acceptance through wisdom after understanding the truth and the reality through seeing things as they are is crucial. To do that, we must understand the Buddha saying. You must develop the deeper understanding of what the Buddha actually meant when he said that you must learn to see things as they are with
Jnana Dasana.
Jnana Dasana. The direct knowledge of vision of the reality, meaning tathata or suchness seeing. When you can see things as they are, it means you can understand this stanza. Whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. This stanza has deep meaning. It means that this is the reality because conditions are already set, and if you do not accept what happens, it means you want things your way, which is not nature's way. Then you suffer because these are nature's conditions. When the causes and conditions are already established, the reality has to be such, not otherwise. Not according to what you want, not according to one's individual craving and preference, because these are nature's conditions. It implies that reality is, suchness and truth are. This is the isness of things. It is not your truth and not my truth, because these are the individual's relative truth. Similarly, a situation is neither good nor bad, because it is the reality. Things are just the way they are, and they have to be such. The same goes with the saying of mine. Of mine, living beings are just the way they are, and the world is the world. Do remember all these words of wisdom, because they all point towards suchness. It is because we live in a conditioned world. So when conditions are like that, things will be like that. That is the reality, and the present moment is the only reality in life. But this present moment is so transient. Split second, it is dead and gone. That is why understanding this present moment awareness is very important. If you are not aware and you are lost in thoughts, how can you understand what is going on in life and what is happening within the moment? How can you know who you are, what life is, what existence is, and what truth is? All these teachings of the Dhamma are to awaken you to the present moment awareness, which is sati or mindfulness. With sati developed, all this will fall in place. Then your nature will become very different. Once you have the awakening, as I have explained earlier on, the phenomenal world of consciousness and form will collapse in front of you. That means the phenomenal world of consciousness and form will have no power over you because you have understood that perception of form is consciousness, only mental consciousness, no reality, whereas its non-perception is wisdom. When you are here with the pure awareness nature, you do not perceive anything because that is the true mind. The silent mind with no thought, nothing, no duality. So how can it perceive? That is why pure awareness or pure perception is to see things as they are because things are just the way they are. Suchness cannot be otherwise. This is how you can come to a great awakening. Your whole nature just awakens as if there is a sudden explosion of understanding. That is why I said that the phenomenal world of consciousness and form will collapse in front of you. There will have no more power over you because you have understood that these manifestations are all projected from the mundane mind as consciousness. Hence, there is no reality. It is similar to the blank white screen. With all the lights and sounds are projected onto it to create a movie, it can make you emotional and make it appear so real. But when the movie ends, what happened? It is just a blank screen, no reality, empty, and not what you think. All these are created through causes and conditions, and they can delude living beings. The videos nowadays, including the cinema shows, can all appear to be so real, so enticing and so alluring. That is how they lure your senses, entice you, make you believe it is real, and make you crave for it, fight for it, and even pay to watch it. All this is what life, existence, and creation are. Without awareness and sati developed from the true mind's direct seeing, you cannot understand all this and you cannot penetrate all this. That is why you have to bring this phenomenal world of consciousness back to the mundane mind level and seize it by bringing it back to the pure awareness stage. Then, through the realization with wisdom, realize Nibbana, enlightenment in the here and the now. That is where the original nature or the source is. It is from there everything comes to be, through the 4 stages of creation, as I had explained. That is also what the Surangama Sutra's explanation is all about. It said that from here, the source, the primordial mind, comes to be and starts karmic movements until it becomes the phenomenal world of consciousness. Very good, sadhu. Brother Song said, we can see with mindfulness that when psychological time arises, Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 also take their course. At the same time, one can also witness the second right view, Citta Niyama, which is synonymous with understanding the law of dependent origination occurring, thereby understanding the 12 links. Bharatio said, yes, then you will also understand the Diamond Sutra famous stanza, 一切有为法. Everything within the conditioned world are conditioned Dhamma. This is because psychological time creates the phenomenal world of consciousness. The conditioned world of conditioned Dhamma, you wei fa. Then everything that arises within the conditioned world, which are dreamlike, illusionary, like a bubble and shadow, ru mong huan pao ying, will become very clear to you. Then it is followed by ru ru yi ru dian, like morning dew and a lightning flash, which is the present moment experiences. So how real can it be? It is just like a lightning flash. Split second, it is gone. Certain phenomena may take a longer time to arise. That is why it is analogous to a morning dew. Finally, 为作如应作如是观. You must contemplate it thus to develop the profound wisdom of the Diamond Sutra and break free from all dualities. Very good, Maha Sadhu. Brother Song said, Brother Teo, today's Dhamma sharing is truly profound. Brother Teo said, yes, that is why when the teaching starts to link, more and more profound Dhamma will surface. If you are to do this cultivation on your own, it may take you a very long time to reach this level of understanding. That is the reason why the Buddha Sasana and the great beings are very important. Without them, you cannot find all this understanding. If you try to understand on your own, it will take you a very long time. It is just like the gateway to our nature. If I were to look for it by myself, it would take me at least 10 to 15 years to locate it. After that, to go through this nature's transformation, to develop all these understandings, it definitely cannot be achieved in just this lifetime. A lot of hard work had been done in the past to contribute to such a possibility. All these are what the Buddha is trying to tell you. When the Buddha Sasana window is there, all these are possible. Because these great beings, four Pusa, that is the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, are everywhere and their nature is all over. The reason why I like to conduct our annual meditation retreat at the Sampo Temple in Cameron Highland is because I realize there are a lot of great beings' nature there. I came to know about this Sampo Temple in 1989 when I was there attending a 5-day meditation retreat. It was during that retreat my nature connected, and that was how I came to know why that Sampo Temple way place is so conducive for cultivation. That is the reason why I told Brother Sui An back then that it will be the best place to conduct our annual meditation retreat. Finally, we managed to get the temple committee to allow us to have our annual retreat there, despite the fact that we do not have any Buddhist organization representing us at that time. We borrowed SJBA because at that time, Brother Sui An was there together with Brother Chim. We should thank them for that. All this evolved through causes and conditions, and it has manifested and grown to what we have become today. It is really amazing. That is because it is meant to be. Even without an organization, we can still have the permission to conduct all these annual meditation retreats at Sampo Temple in Cameron Highlands since 2013. Brother Song English translation. Lately, when I listen again to Brother Teo's recent Dhamma sharing, my understanding has become totally different. Just like now, when Brother Teo asked me whether I have anything else to add, at that moment, I could not think of anything to add. But when I slowly looked at the written Dhamma on the whiteboard, I felt I could link and connect all this Dhamma. Psychological time, Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, and the 12 links of the law of dependent origination. I was able to understand how they are all related to movements in psychological time. When psychological time starts, all things start. Brother Teo said, that is why I always share with you that all the teachings are interconnected. The difficult part is in knowing how to connect and link all these teachings, because they are actually only one teaching from the Four Noble Truths. The rest spins off from that one teaching. When you have the understanding that the whole teaching and all Dhamma are interconnected, you will be amazed that the whole teaching is so beautiful. That is the marvel of the Buddha Dhamma, because it is the truth. It points towards the reality, to its suchness nature. It is related to life. That is why this Dhamma is a living Dhamma. It can be realized and experienced as a living reality. To have the ability to present and explain all this understanding is not easy, and yet we are able to do so. 20 years ago, in December 2004, Sister Yun Chan, who is one of our pioneer Kalyanamitas, requested that I come out and share the Dhamma. I remember that in December of 2004, the deadliest tsunami in history occurred. It wreaked havoc and caused immense destruction and death in 14 countries in Southeast Asia. By this year end, December 2024, it will be exactly 20 years since I started expounding the Dhamma. As such, this coming year end, the gathering of Kalyanamitas will be especially meaningful, beautiful and memorable. It will mark the 20th anniversary of my nature coming out to share the Dhamma with the world. It also coincides with my 70th birthday. It seems that all this is meant to be. It is as if the time has come for the whole teaching to arise and manifest itself. That is why, since 2017, the videos, the websites, and all the recent Dhamma sharing can come to be.
Special Dhamma sharing.
Yeah, and all the recent special Dhamma sharing can come to be. I also remember that in January 2017, we formed the website committee to set up our Dhamma website. In the last 6 to 7 years, all these Dhamma sharing, books and videos were recorded and stored in our website. Now we have our own website, the www.broteo.com, which is protected by our annual website security subscription. For all this to arise, we must thank all those who helped and made it possible. Especially Brother Lau, Brother Sui An, Brother Chin Hao, and Sister Sui.
Sadhu, sadhu, very good. Yeah.
Actually, in the last 7 to 8 years, a lot had transpired. That is why from now onwards, you will start to understand why you have to realize one Dhamma door at a time before it can lead you to the next one. Once you understand and realize the significance of the Dhamma doors, you will become different. It is as though the wisdom key opens the first Dhamma door. When you go in with the understanding you have gained, it will lead you to the next door, and then to the next door, and so forth. When you come to understand that the whole teaching is all connected, it means you already have the master key to open all the Dhamma doors.
So you want to find the master key or not? Yes. So no need to long bia. You know long bia is a jump back. Bang yourself every time the Dhamma door cannot open, you bang. You don't have master key. When you have the complete understanding, the master key is there. Okay, read on.
All the Dhamma understandings is actually one. It is the entire Dhamma teaching of the supreme vehicle in the Mahayana Buddhist tradition. Sister Sui said, towards the end, when the Surangama Sutra was mentioned, something occurred to me from within and it wanted me to share. From the source, everything arises and we become. The first thing to arise is this pure awareness nature that can be aware of everything, whether we know it or not. And then the form and mind give us our senses through our physical body as well as the thinking faculty through our mundane mind. From the mundane mind, we create the world, the phenomenal world of consciousness as we know it, as our apparent reality. So what I want to share that we think that is the only reality that every one of us agrees with. But this is not always the case. That was a very common misconception that I had all this while. To make that clearer, I will give you an example. If there is a phenomenon of sound, we are either conscious or aware of it. But when we want to try to cognize it and remember what has transpired, we use our ear and then we start to label with our memory. This is a good sound, a bad sound, or a loud sound. It is bad for health, etc. We start to create that conscious experience as our present moment experience, and we label it as our reality. So now, think back to the Surangama Sutra teaching on the mind. For example, we all understand that someone that is deaf cannot hear. So whilst the people that can hear that sound will say that it is a good sound, it is good for health, etc. There are others who may argue that it is a bad sound, it is bad for health, etc. For the person who cannot hear, this world does not have sound, and so there is no such thing as good sound or a bad sound. His reality is very different from other people's reality. Actually, each of them has their own version of their own apparent reality. That is why this apparent reality is unreal. What we know as our life, the so-called highest in life, is unreal. It is only what we think of it, but we hold on to our interpretation and fight over it. That is to say, my version is right, but your version is wrong, because our ego, our pride, our views and our opinions of things, through our greed, hatred and delusion, the three evil roots, etc., all born of delusion. So actually, if we do not want to fight, we just need to accept that something that can be good and can also be bad, depending on who is perceiving and from what position and perspective that person is coming from. Everybody can be correct and everybody can be wrong, depending on how you want to interpret and what kind of assumptions you want to take into consideration and how far back in history you want to go. That is why arguing in the conditioned world of apparent reality and duality is really futile. That is what I want to share. Brother
Very good. Huh? Sadhu, sadhu. So when you can see that the phenomenal world of consciousness and form that arise, like what Sui contemplated, yeah? He that time was following, and he contemplated from the source, the pure awareness, capable of aware of everything, whether you are conscious or not conscious of that nature is not important. Then through the mundane mind, through the senses, it creates the 5 aggregate of form and mind. It creates the entity, the ego, the human being. And from there the senses project the phenomenal world of consciousness through its senses. And from there he realized, when you are at the third circle, which is the mundane mind, this is how the unenlightened human being perceive the world. Understand? Everyone is different. Your conditioning, your training, your belief system, your views, your opinion, and all this mold you, even your karmic background. That's why everything that individual perceive is according to them. Understand? It's just like right according to who? According to them. If they perceive it negativity, it's according to them. Understand? Or they perceive it wholesomeness, it's according to them. So right and wrong is not the reality. That's why she used the word apparent reality is very good. Understand? But this is not the truth. Understand? This is the apparent reality that you perceive. That's why everyone perceives the world differently. Understand? Some are caught in the cocoon of egoic thought. You become like trapped in the very, very small knowledge within the confined of what your thought understand. It's just like kata di bawah tempurung, understand? So the thought is limited, but you all argue over that limited, maybe apparent reality that each and everyone perceive. Then you go and argue, like we say, right and wrong. And you never appreciate life because at least you can hear now, you can perceive now, even though apparent reality. And you can talk about, nice sound, what sound? That sound, you horrible sound. But the one that is deaf is worse, understand? He can't even hear anything. To him, the world is without sound, understand? That's why those who cannot see without the senses is actually not easy. That's why they call them what? OKU, handicap. That's why count your own blessing. When you are born normal with all your senses intact, count your good karma, understand? Gratitude. Then rejoice. Don't go and unnecessary through stupidity or ignorance or self-delusion. Go and harm yourself, hurt yourself by becoming angry with yourself. Understand? You are so blessed compared to those OKU, understand? And as a Buddhist, with the Dhamma understanding, you are so blessed, understand? Compared to all the heedless and deluded ones. And there are so many in this world. So when you have contentment, you have love. You appreciate life. You appreciate everything that comes by. Whatever that manifests through causes and conditions, if it's conducive, favorable to you, means you have taken care of your life. You understand now? You have taken care of karma. Otherwise, I tell you, you entangle yourself and get afflicted everywhere. Left, right, and center. Which directions you haven't hit? East, west, north, south. Then, the top one is called. No. There is two words. One is nadir, the other one is. There is an English word. Not important. You know, up and down can read. So when you read it, the 10 direction metta, you know how you get 10. Just now I told you 6 only, east, west, north, south. Then the top and bottom one. The in-between one. In between the east, west, north, south, you got north, east. All these become 10. Then those who do the loving kindness that the Buddha taught, they got the 10 directional one. That's why all these are taught actually. So this apparent reality creates a lot of confusion, delusion. And those deluded ones without the Dhamma, they still argue, They still want to be right, They still cannot see all this, So when you see all this, then you know the mundane mind, you cannot trust him, Not reliable at all, Why? The user that arises that one, if it's not enlightened, that one is definitely wrong thought. So you don't try to practice right thought. Who practice? The thought practice, the thought egoic, haven't awakened, and you ask him to practice right thought. Then they will tell you what? Practice letting go. Who let go? The one who hold, of course, the thought lah. But the person, the mundane mind who hold, want to practice letting go, The reason you hold is because you are deluded, understand? Like if it's red hot, burning you, tormenting you, you somehow dare to hold, Understand? Because physically it burn you. That's why they know. Cobra, they dare not touch. You know why they hold? Because it's the thought. Understand? That thought torment you. Physically, it does not hurt you, but mentally, where you don't know the first noble truth of dukkha. You don't know suffering already arisen. So you suffer without knowing how you suffer. Understand? So most people's problem, is what? They say, I got a problem. First Noble Truth problem. You know what they do? If it's burning hot, you will know what to do with it. Will it torment you? It burn you, understand? So, the natural understanding is what? Don't hold lah, understand? If you got this understanding, you don't hold, what is there to practice letting go, understand? You cannot hold, you understand? But when it doesn't torment you and burn you physically, you know, the first noble truth, suffering or reality when heat, they suffer like separation, financial problem. Then going through old age, sickness and death, all the traumatic disease, whatever. What they do? They hold on to their thought, no. I have a problem, no. Say lo. You know what they say? Die already, huh? Why? The doctor diagnosed, the what they call cancer, what is the test? Biopsy. Confirm or biopsy. Oh. Yeah. Take the no. Biopsy, take the cell sample to check whether it's malignant or not. So when they do that, I tell you that 1 week when you wait for result, last time I told you the story before, the president of one of the Buddhist society, he's an accountant. No? He said, Brother Teo, when I visit him, I said, when the doctor asked me to wait 1 week, I tell you, my face pucat and I worry for 7 days. Then luckily, the result come out negative. Wow, it's a relief. And he told me what, I said, but Teo, when I confronted this, when I go through, all your Dhamma fly out the window. Why? Because doesn't stabilize the understanding. Cannot accept this as reality. Causes and conditions like things will be like that. So you hold on to it means what? You worry about. It's burning you, tormenting you. Then how can you develop the understanding to resolve it? So the natural thing is, through right view, accept it for what it is, because whatever arises, there are causes and conditions in it. And the last of the 5 daily contemplation is what? We are born our karma, heir to our karma. Conditions support by God. We are what we are because means you have done a lot of killing, understand not? And you have to experience this pain that comes with cancer treatment, understand not? So accept it. It is a reality. If I don't accept, I worry, I panic, worse. You know what is fear or not? Worry. Negative energy, fear. It will condition your physical body's immune system to go down. Well, these are very negative energy field. Instead, you accept the thing, then what happens? You are at peace. You don't fear. You don't project your thought. The two illusionary time, past and future, not affecting you, understand? Then you have clarity. Okay, right view to accept, I accept. But it doesn't mean you don't act, no. You accept means what? You put it down, understand? You don't cling on to that fear, that worry about that first noble truth reality. You put it down. So if it's hot and burning you, causing you mental suffering, when you put it down and accept it, there is clarity. It no longer torment you. Understand? Cause you mental suffering. The fear, the worry, the anxiety. Then the thought become cocoon of thought. You can go cuckoo, I tell you. You can become depressed. No way. Then it affects the individual. So what happens is I accept. Then with clarity of mind, I can look at it. What actually happened? If it's a reality, if I react with fear, worry, anxiety, does it help me? That's why I said no amount of fear, worry, anxiety will help you. True or not? So what must you do? No, acceptance free you first, understand? Because that negative energy all disappear. Then you reflect. Reflect through what? Through the Dhamma way. How can I resolve all this amicably so that in future it won't haunt me anymore? Then you refer to the Buddha's teaching, understand? Fourth noble truth, what does it say? You cultivate this noble eightfold path, it will lead to the end of all suffering, understand? So right view to accept already free you. Then right thought means what? Instead of developing fear, radiate metta, understand? Radiate gratitude that at least now I understand. I'm a Buddhist, I got a way out. If I radiate all this, your mind state is no longer fear, worry, anxiety, understand? It's already the positive metta energy, contentment, appreciation. Then if you need to seek advice, you go. You need to see doctor or people who has recovered, you seek, you get advice. Then if you got good karma, you know how to turn around or not. If it's karma, first thing you do is what? Ask for repentance. Then you already Buddhist. The advice of the Buddha already there now. Your karma past already or gone. You cannot change. You cannot reverse. The karmic condition come take effect already. Okay, but you have merit because you are a cultivator. Understand? You attend Dhamma class, the meritorious action. You supposed to cultivate noble eightfold path, have right thought, all things. But when he hit you, like that president, forgot everything. He said all the Dhamma completely blank from the mind. So if you don't have the stability of understanding, that will happen to you. But you have the stability of understanding, you know how to invoke the power of merit. By the power of whatever wholesomeness of merit that is nature of mind have cultivated since the day I embrace this teaching and sincerely cultivate, may arise the causes and conditions for me to actually develop the ability to come out of this so-called cancer and recover to good health and good mind state so that I can gain back my life again and cultivate this teaching so that in future I don't have to suffer anymore. If you do that, causes and conditions will arise. Then there will be people who will come and help you. Like a lot of them somehow bring them to see me. And I clear almost most of their problems. Those who have faith and affinity, it can be done. So compared to the deluded way, it's so much different now. And living beings don't have this understanding in the Dhamma. That's why they choose to suffer. You think they willingly choose to suffer? Because the wrong thought that you arise, fear, worry, anxiety, when you project your thought, that is Dhammapada verse 1. No? Understand? No? Lead to what? Dhammapada verse 1 lead to what? When you didn't train your mind, you act, speak, and think with a heedless mind that has the evil root of greed, hatred, and delusion, it lead to what? Suffering will follow you lah. Understand? No? That is what human beings doing. They hold on to it through the thought. Through what? Fear, worry, anxiety, insecurity. And what are these wrong thoughts? Thought that trigger your mental suffering. Understand? Whatever thought that cause you to have fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, and lack of peace, 100% wrong thought. Understand? That's how you identify them. Then when you have fear, worry, anxiety, are you peaceful? Are you happy? So my advice to you is what? Whatever happened, there are causes and conditions. Understand it, then don't panic. Understand? Don't go and worry and project your thought and do all those foolish things. So when you understand this, you understand life, you know how to live life, and you know how to Come out of it, understand? No? That's why the solution is very simple. But living beings don't have the condition to receive this true teaching. Understand? No? And when you understand, I tell you, you go all out and cultivate this teaching. That's why have faith. Then develop the resolve. Every year you make New Year resolution. So this time, make another resolution to go all out and learn this teaching. What have you got to lose if you learn this teaching? You not only nothing to lose, you got everything to gain. No? And you somehow don't see it and don't want to really look at it. And most of you are not young, I tell you. Don't assume, oh, young at heart, Pamasuri. That's why she and Brother Teo, no problem, young at heart, still young. Oh, Brother Wong, okay, Brother Wong said. Anyway, joke aside, this is serious understanding. Learn this. You need to re-listen to all the, you wait for Chin Hao. Day 7, evening, remember. And I tell you, when you stabilize that, you become beautiful. Okay, Alicia want to say something. Timekeeper, don't worry about the time. We skip the 1 hour.
Good evening, Brother Teo, Mrs. Teo, and all凯文米达。那天15那天，我们是要去禅定，然后就赞佛，就是赞释迦牟尼佛的偈颂里面，讲到释迦牟尼佛微微丈六，他很高的，紫金容，讲到他觉道，雪山峰，然后我就哭了。
哇，傻的。
然后他的最后的那个，他是说他眉，就说他这边，毫光灿烂，照开6道昏蒙，就说那些懵懵懂懂梦中的人这样。然后到最后他说，龙华三会愿相逢。演说什么法真宗？这龙华三会就是弥勒菩萨，就是成佛那个。然后后来我就去跟弥勒菩萨发愿。
哇塞！
所以我想借着这个机会，Since Brother 就讲到要我们 make new resolution。
new resolution。
所以我在这里分享，这个就是我这次来三宝是跟弥勒菩萨。
哇，萨度。That's why you can make your resolve, your adhitan, whenever you have a condition. So you come to retreat, you can do a lot of things. Not only develop affinity with all the great beings. And affinity is very easy. Have faith. Pay respect. Then find out these great beings' virtue. Their how and all things. So learn to chant or listen to the chanting, the vibration. Then make aspiration. This is the affinity with the triple gem and all these great beings. Then you ask for their blessing, protection, and guidance. Then your cultivation becomes very simple. You think easy to get all these great beings, Sammasambuddha and Bodhisattva, to be your friend? Easy or not? That's why I call them good friends. When you make the necessary aspiration, you pay respect, you express your gratitude, your thanks for all the blessing, protection, and guidance that they have given you. That is affinity, that is wholesome mind state. Then you continue to evoke power of merit. By whatever power of merit that this nature of mind have cultivated, you can silence everything since the distant past until now. May it arise the causes and conditions for me to walk the Buddha's way. Understand? Succeed in that cultivation. Then for the great beings, for all of them to continue to bless, protect, and guide this nature. I tell you, you jia bei liao, you know why? All the great beings nature, no? Not only Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, no? But I like Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, you know why? Because she is a very unique great being. In we every time chant one, when we ask him to chant Om Mani Padme Hum, the opening one. 什么广大什么大慈大悲救什么救难because she has great compassion and and her vow is so powerful. Whoever call upon her for how or whatever chanting that teaching that he teach, even sing 大悲咒 there will be a response. No? The requirement is sincere. That's why pay respect, express your gratitude, and sincerely, like thank Kuan Yin nature or Kuan Yin Bodhisattva's nature for all the blessing, protection, and guidance that he has given you. Then continue to request for her nature's protection, blessing, and guidance sincerely. Then all this will build up the affinity, understand? And Kuan Yin Bodhisattva doesn't discriminate on, no. He doesn't say, oh, you poor fellow, you never keep your precept. Then he don't want to help. No, the criteria is what? Sincerely, understand? That is the criteria. If you are sincere, you are non-cultivator also no problem, as long as you have faith. Understand? That's why sincerity, faith, and perseverance pave the way for all cultivation. So now you understand? Okay, continue.
Brother Teo said, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. What Sister Sui has shared is very good. I would like to add on a bit more to make it more complete. You see, the Surangama Sutra mentioned that perception of form is consciousness. So from here, at the mundane mind level, you perceive. Then through consciousness, you create the phenomenal world of consciousness. That is how all dualities arise. That is why perception of form is consciousness, which means it is deluded because this consciousness is mundane consciousness that arises through mundane mind. Before you arise through mundane seeing. Before you become enlightened, this thought consciousness is not the pure awareness, but its non-perception means that from here, at the pure awareness stage where there is no thought, no duality, nothing. What you perceive is the reality by seeing things as they are. That is why from here, the pure awareness nature, you do not perceive form. Why? Because 看山不是山, seeing mountain as not mountain means non-perception. Non-perception is wisdom. This is the direct seeing, seeing things as they are. You do not label. The form that we label comes from the thought process, the memory, the knowledge, your views and the opinions that you hold on to, the meaning that you give to each and every one of these existential worlds' apparent reality.
See, so beautiful, so clearly explained. The other thing that you have to give credit to Chui is, and all the Kayamita that give us feedback is, you know when I share at Pamasri house, when I say, from here, you move. I never say which circle. No. There are 4 circles out there. Chui put it. So he said, this thought consciousness is not the pure awareness. Oh, sorry. There is another one. Where he labeled that thing. Now, you read this book so easy. From here, the pure awareness nature. Or from here, the mundane mind. Or you are here. From here, the phenomenal world of consciousness, which is enticing, luring, chaotic. All this has been made clear. Otherwise, you listen to a real recording, you will ask, hey, what is that? From here, from there, everywhere. There are 4 circles. So we should rejoice, huh? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Don't worry about that time, huh? This one is we steal from your meditation. Half an hour, huh? Worth it, huh? Worth it or not? Because the explanation is so important, no? Okay.
That is why Sister Sui said, all the various versions of truth, of realities that living beings perceive are conventional truth, not ultimate truth. Every living being has his or her own views, opinions, conditioning, belief system, etc. So how can you expect the world to come to a consensus and develop peace?
True or not? The way you perceive things is everyone also chapalangon, not the reality. Sure argue lah, sure fight lah. There's like so much conflict in the world. So when you can see this, you wake up. You don't want to argue already. Understand? Why want to be right? They see things according to their memory, their knowledge, their perceived reality. Finish. Understand? They are just the way they are. Then your wisdom is there. That's why acceptance is wisdom. Understand? Then no conflict. Your life becomes so much peaceful, more peaceful, so much better. Rather than every day engage in what? The game of what? Why you want to argue? Why you want to go and like get angry, emotional, or project your thought and trigger the fear, the worry, the anxiety? That is not life, understand? That is suffering. So see this, understand this, stabilize. Then ask yourself, like Song, after he understands, he saw, he has great compassion for the deluded living being that don't have the Dhamma. That's why he said, when he listened and he realized the psychological time is the answer to what he needs. That is the missing link. When psychological time arises, Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 arise. And what is psychological time? Basically, it's your thought. Understand? When there is thought activity, psychological time arises, thinking. That's why the Dhamma is beyond thought, beyond time. You must cease. And how you get that? Pure awareness nature. Awareness, the pure awareness, before the knowing. And all these are very easy to understand if you pay attention. Understand? That's why those who cultivate it, when they are ready, the moment they see, they understand. And during that time, he keep on like understanding things. And he like all my classes sharing. He keep on listening. You go and ask Song. And that's how he developed the joy and the penetration. That's why the stability or understanding he has is really very good. Yeah, he connected very early. Yeah. How many years already? So? Oh, lie down. Later 才问他. Oh, Yun Chan should know. Yun Chan. Yun Chan. You take Song they all to Paramachan. Achan Anand there. Then he connect. What year was it? 2014. See? 12 years already, you think recent. So he must have joined my class long time ago. First 5 over year, actually nothing happened. I said, And after he connect already 12 years, total how many years? Actually he was one of the near first batch. Almost the first batch. After 2004, then he came, then he met Yun Chan. He should thank Yun Chan. That group that went, only Song connect, because of the chanting. But Yun Chan a lot of parami. You know why? He's the first to invite me out. Without that condition, all of you won't be here. Understand? And the website also cannot come out. The book also cannot come out. All the wholesomeness that you all do cannot happen. Understand? That's why I say she got a lot of parami. She must know how to sailang. Understand that parami? For what? For progress along the path of true Dhamma. then vow through the Bodhisattva vow for causes and conditions to have this understanding life after life. But she must stabilize the understanding, stabilize the sati. Earlier on, she came and asked me, Brother Theo, how you really cut a feeling? I said, without stability of mindfulness and the initial wisdom, you cannot cut. Just like who let go? The non-enlightened one, deluded one, want to let go. And he called that practicing letting go. Understand? It's just like people after got into trouble already. Then somebody got advice him. Then he reluctantly say, okay lah, I forgive him lah. When he answered like that, you think he forgive or not? Definitely not. The evil root is still there. Because he just, okay lah, forgive you. So thought base is like that, no. Then when problem happen, okay lah, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to suffer anymore. I let go lah. Do you think he can let go? Without the wisdom, that thought, that worry, that problem, continue to haunt him. Then some my friend, I remember Yun Chan initially, he came to the class, then we have some discussion. After the class, he come and talk to me. He said, Brother Theo, advise people very easy, Buddhist. Let go lah, don't attach lah, then no more suffering. But if it's your own loved one, your own really first noble truth reality hit, you talk let go. But here, crabs, because cannot understand, worry, understand? That is the analogy of the burning thing. If physically burn you, you wake up. Understand? But mentally, you hold, and you didn't know it's tormenting you, causing so much mental suffering. So see it, stabilize your understanding, then you become beautiful. Okay? Continue.
That is why all discussions on world peace usually end up in wars, in more conflicts, more disharmony and argument. In fact, a lot are due to the evil root of hatred and anger. If you look at the Middle East wars and all other conflicts that arise within our planet, they arise because of the evil roots of having a lot of hatred, a lot of anger, a lot of greed, selfishness and delusion to seek power and authority. All these are the evil roots that manifest in the chaotic phenomena world of consciousness. But living beings still grasp, cling, fight unceasingly, doing a lot of silly things. This is what delusion is. According to the Diamond Sutra, all these are illusions with no reality. 7.2 Diamond Sutra. 一切有为法 Everything within the conditioned world are conditioned Dhamma. 如梦幻泡影 Everything that arises within the conditioned world are dreamlike, illusionary, like a bubble, and shadowy, and hence there is no reality. 如露亦如电 Like a morning dew and a lightning flash, how can it be? How real can it be?
应作如是观
You must contemplate thus to develop the profound wisdom of the Diamond Sutra's teaching and break free from all dualities and delusion.
Sadhu. Okay, read on.
The above implies this an illusionary world. That is why the illusory phenomena world of consciousness and form are not real, because perception of form is consciousness and hence illusory. This phenomena world of consciousness is like a magician creating all the illusion for you to see, yet you still believe in it. That is why you must develop awareness and go back to this pure awareness nature to see with direct seeing, where you do not perceive, to enable you to see things as they are. This means no more duality, no more right and wrong, no more your views, my views, and other people's views. This is because reality is truth is, it is suchness. Reality is without words, not your truth, not my truth, not other people's truth. All these are our views and opinions of what the world is, but the Dhamma is still the only reality. That is why Dhammapada...
The only one reality.
All these are our views and opinions of what the world is, but Dhamma is still the only reality. That is why these Dhammapada verses are evergreen. They never become obsolete. This is where the difference lies between the living Dhamma and the mundane or knowledge-based Adhamma that the world has created through the phenomena world of consciousness and the thought process. That is why thought-based approach is always knowledge-based. So thought-based seeing cannot see things as they are and cannot awaken because there is no wisdom. That is why all thought-based doing or learning cannot genuinely develop wisdom. You can only develop more and more knowledge to become more and more sophisticated. Okay, I think we should end here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brother Song, do you want to summarize before we end? Brother Song, English translation. This evening's Dharma sharing is very deep, profound, and wonderful. Brother Teo has shared a lot of very penetrative understanding. If we listen again, it can help awaken our nature. We should listen carefully again and contemplate on the many beautiful Dharma quotes and pointers shared by Brother Teo to stabilize our understanding. Anyone who does it with faith and understanding can awaken.
Very true, isn't it, that statement? So, what you need? Very simple, isn't it? Anyone who does it with faith and understanding can awaken. You have faith or not? 100% you have, isn't it? Then from the faith, virya, trigger of the cultivation, spiritual zeal. You see the importance, you go, you cultivate. Then sati develop, stabilize, become the pure awareness nature, your true mind. Then from there, understanding will arise. Direct seeing, seeing things as they are. Can follow or not? Not that difficult, is it? 2 steps only, Have faith. Okay, Song summarized it very well, isn't it? After he listened. He said the sharing, very deep, profound, and wonderful, and very penetrative understanding. He asked you to listen, and develop it and stabilize it. This type of advice you can only get from Kayan Mita. A lot of them don't want to share. They say, hey, no need to put on the website. We all Dhamma friends, share among ourselves. You like that, I tell you, your Dhamma all gone. Cannot. Because you don't understand the nature's law. The more you give, the more you receive. Understand? That is the nature's law. So law of karma is what? Generosity is what? You think you give? You give to your own nature, understand? That's why I say the more you give, the more you receive. If you are kind to people, generous to people, in future, you will receive all this kindness and generosity. So all these are the understanding. Karma is always the opposite of what the mundane mind thinks. Understand? You don't want to make offering, you don't want to have virtue because you are selfish. Understand? But the law of karma is when you are selfish, you cause suffering, you cause unnecessary misunderstanding, conflict, and all this misery. Then you reap what you sow. When the karmic friction come back, you kena back. Understand? So if you want your life to be good, you better develop more goodness and wholesomeness to be kind to people, to society, to the world. You have generosity. The more you give, the more you receive through your karmic inheritance. That's why those who do all this philanthropy, they know. And most of these are rich people, very wealthy, and yet they still donate. Because they know if we can relieve suffering, help humanity, mankind, then there is this wholesomeness behind. During the Buddha's time, you know Ananda Pitaka or not? Who is he? He donated that piece of land. No? The owner don't want to sell. No? He said, unless you can cover the land with gold coin. No? He really have the gold coin. He cover. Because he very wealthy. That's why every life he come, he has this wealth. And he know what to do. And he support the right one. Understand? No? If you support the wrong one, sorry. You go and support terrorists, financing through ideology. I don't know what type of karma will come back. Okay, finish it.
Brother Teo said, if we can document today's sharing in written form, it is going to be very beautiful. Some parts of the Dharma that I have shared today are beyond the Heart Sutra, come meditation classes, short notes, provisional teachings that I had taught you earlier on. These Heart Sutra, come meditation classes, short notes, provisional teachings are the initial basic understanding of the teaching needed for all of you to go into the higher teachings of the Supreme Vehicle. This teaching is based on the understanding of the higher teachings, and it can let all of you develop a complete grasp of the whole teaching. The sharing today connects and links a lot of very important Dharma and understanding needed for one to have a better grasp of the whole teaching. By now, all of you should realize that everything is interconnected. All this explanation I have written on the whiteboard, including what Sister Sui has added and shared, can help all of you develop more understanding of the cultivation. That is why there is a stanza in Surangama Sutra which states that perception of form is consciousness, whereas its non-perception is wisdom. This statement is so beautiful and so profound. After that, in 1989, or at that time in 1989, when I read the Surangama Sutra stanza, my nature rejoiced. I said that this stanza is most beautiful because that was what my nature saw. Consciousness is really like a magician, an illusionist with no reality. Then what is the present moment? It is the only reality and the highest in life. But it is so transient. Split second, it is dead and gone. Split second, it is dead and gone, and yet that is the only reality in life. So how real can life be? And yet living beings hold on to that illusionary world which has no reality. If the only reality is so transient, how can there be a permanent, unchanging entity? Because everything that happens within existence has to be within the present moment. Moment to moment, it arises and passes away. It comes and it goes. It appears and disappears. Split second, it is dead and gone. So where is the reality? Yet living beings can still cling on to such things in detail, as if everything is so beautiful and so real. But please do understand that our existential world has its own apparent reality and wonderful existence. This existential world, although it is unreal, there is such a thing as life. That is why in the Heart Sutra there is this saying, in true emptiness there is wonderful existence, 真空妙有. But to understand those words, you must realize true emptiness. Only then can existence become truly wonderful. Of course, you can only describe and explain its wonders after you have realized true emptiness and developed true understanding, because only after your awakening can you transcend duality and suffering. Then you can come to this existential world with a form and mind that has this special understanding. This existential world, which has its own mundane reality, or what they call life or existence, can be really wonderful and beautiful. There is no suffering at all. That is why in this segment of my present life, when it comes, it is beautiful every moment. Of course, after 1989, when I connected and developed all this understanding, it became even more wonderful and beautiful. When the third phase of the Dhamma Pativeda, which is after the direct first-hand realization of the Dhamma, dawned on me, all this wonderful existence become possible. Every instant, every moment, life is so pristine, wonderful, beautiful, and meaningful. This is what life and existence is all about, although not so real, because everything just comes and goes, hey no you, hey no me. But there is such a thing as Buddha Dhamma within the conditioned world. There is such a thing as wonderful existence within the conditioned world. So do not be mistaken by one-sided reality. This is the reason why you have to understand both the unconditioned Dhamma and the conditioned Dhamma. Only with these two understandings you can truly live life. Otherwise, you cannot live life. To make the Dhamma a living reality, you need to understand both the unconditioned Dhamma and the conditioned Dhamma. So today we end our sharing here. Ending closing puja. Let us rejoice with all the good sharing and wholesomeness once again.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Let us share merits with all beings, starting with the Devas by chanting the closing puja. Now you can all pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones, and we end this session.
Appendix. Continue.
Appendices 9.1. The four circles formation to explain the stages of creation.
So go and read this up on your own. It's similar to what we put on the whiteboard. Then the notes.
1. The above four circle formation chart was prepared by Sister Teo Sui to help readers better understand what had been shared. 2. A Dhamma question on understanding the pure awareness nature was extracted from Brother Teo's email dated 23rd March 2024 for further sharing. Question. My question is, if the pure mind nature can return to the mundane and the phenomena world of consciousness, then it does not seem to make sense as the person becomes a putujana again.
So, what is your answer?
Answered by Brother Teo.
If you don't understand, you cannot answer him. Because they still use the thought to create the thinking, the understanding. Okay, last page.
The pure awareness nature or the pure mind is the nature, and it does not fall or return to the mundane and the phenomenal world of consciousness. The mundane mind arising from this pure awareness nature is dependent originating. It is the byproduct of that nature, and it arises through the karmic process. You must get this right, and then you will understand better. Otherwise, your doubt will continue. To understand what I have shared, you need to develop a very stable, pure awareness nature and cultivate diligently to awaken. Hope this helped. Extracted from Brother Teo's email.
Yeah, this is why I replied to him. It's a Malaysian Kayamita. Actually, not bad now. You listen, until he got so interested. He complimented first. His explanation very good, the four circle and all that. But he got one question. He said, if the pure awareness can fall back to become the mundane mind, then not logical, is it? Not right, is it? Enlightened already can become mundane mind. No. Well, that one is a nature, it's not you, understand? No? It's not this fellow fallback. This fellow, if you want to come to this existential world, what must happen? The karmic nature must condition a form of mind, isn't it? When that form of mind is connected to that thing, isn't it? That's why you will be there. But before you realize it, before you connect and have the understanding, who is running the show? The mundane mind, isn't it? Then you ask all these questions, means you don't understand. That's why I actually try to help you understand. I say the pure awareness nature or the pure mind is a nature, and it does not fall or return to the mundane mind. Understand or not? Understand or not? Well, that one is not a being, cannot come and live life. It does not create all this, what they call avijja, understand or not? To fall back. No, it's a nature. So when this one doesn't fall or return to the mundane mind and the phenomenal world of consciousness, then his question becomes not the appropriate, correct question. The mundane mind arises from pure awareness nature, and it is dependent originating. See, the understanding is so profound. Means it's not a permanent and changing entity. He know you, he know me. So all this you have to understand. And I even tell you, it's a byproduct of that nature, the pure awareness nature. And it arises through the karmic process. You remember? Karmically conditioned out vehicle and tool, the form of mind. You must get this right. And then you understand better. Yeah, I don't expect him to understand. But at least understand better. Otherwise, your doubt will continue. To understand what I have shared, you need to develop a very stable, pure awareness. This one you can understand now and then. Otherwise, you cannot have the direct seeing, understand or not? You cannot insight into phenomena, you cannot awaken. Yeah? The egoic thought, how can he understand? No way. And cultivate diligently to awaken. Hope this helps. Okay, so we finish, huh? Sadhu. Oh, very good. Last book.
The AI summary that I sent to you?
I know, later. The book didn't finish yet. Tomorrow,
No, the transcript for this.
I know, tomorrow. Yeah, this book I haven't finished.
Okay. All right.
The difference between the next book is our last book. What is the difference between awareness and consciousness in the year 2023? If I can still read or not? Oh, good. Oh, sadhu. Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu. You need to go toilet, please. Excuse yourself. Don't worry. Can then continue. Oh. So we say the reader no need to go because got the good understanding and condition. This Dhamma is food, real food. Whereas they are cold. They need to go. Okay.
Book title, What is the Difference Between Awareness and Consciousness? Dated 18 June 2023. Based on a direct transcript from the recording of the Dhamma talk conducted by Brother Teo Ken Kun at this Thursday Dhamma class, dated 11 July 2019.
Okay, bio data we skip, preface we skip. Yeah, they can read on their own. They go to page 2. And all, no need, that one also skip. Page 3. We start direct.
Okay. What is the difference between awareness and consciousness? Dated 11 July 2019. 3.1 Pre-Puja Chanting. Greetings by Brother Teo. Today is 11 July 2019, Thursday class. Let us compose our mind and develop the Saddha, Viriya and Sati to commence our pre-puja chanting now. End of puja chanting. 3.2 Awareness-based meditation. As usual, we will have our half an hour of awareness-based meditation. We will turn off the lights and you can proceed with your meditation. Just relax the body and mind and maintain some form of attention. Then we can commence our half an hour of awareness-based meditation. Always remember, awareness-based meditation is to enable us to develop the awareness within. So we just silence our mind, relax the body and mind, and maintain awareness. Just do that. No need to know or do anything because the knowing and doing are always by the thought. Make your mind alert, attentive, and aware. Just aware. Whatever arises, aware, finish. No need to continue with the thinking or mental stirring or proliferation of thought process. Just aware, silence, aware, silence. To develop more and more moments of awareness. Then allow the awareness to become your main activity. Meaning your mind is most of the time just aware. Whatever object of awareness can be your heartbeat or any vibration within your heart area you use to anchor your awareness, rest there. Later, when all these activities and movements have become very subtle and very still, there is nothing for you to anchor your awareness to. During that time, you just stay around the heart area. Or if you are using your breathing, Anapanasati as your object of meditation, then stay with your Anapanasati to develop awareness of the in and out breath. Meaning, maintain the awareness. Just aware like what the Buddha said. Breathing in aware, breathing out aware. Whenever the mind wanders off, bring it back and develop this training of your awareness until this breath becomes very subtle and very still. It is the same whether you start with the object of meditation or you straight away start at your heart area, or whenever you can place your awareness, you just stay there. Those of you who are familiar with the rising and falling of the abdomen can also do the same. You can stay there at the abdomen and maintain awareness there. Those are the activities to anchor your mind, to allow your mind to stay there. But finally, you must return to your heart. If that's the case, you might as well go to the heart straight away. But for those who do Anapanasati, you don't worry. Ultimately, the Anapanasati will take you down to the heart area, because the in-breath will take you down to the heart, and from the heart, it will develop the movement outwards. When you can stabilize your awareness, sati, your mind will start to become different. You will have no more thought. You are only aware. When you are just aware, you are not thinking. And because you don't think, you become very quiet, very peaceful, and very still. That's how you can experience piti, sukhang, and finally pasadi, the tranquility and stillness of mind. When everything has become very quiet, very still, and very subtle, don't do anything. Just stay at the heart area, stay there. The mind is now a free mind without any movement of thought, nothing. Then let it stay there until the mind enters sati. You must develop it until the awareness nature within is very stable, very still and clear, until like no more movement of thought, no more sankhara activity. Everything is very quiet, very still. That is your true mind, your meditative mind, your silent mind, your awareness nature within. That is the one you need to realize. Without that, you cannot realize the first hallmark of Hui Neng, the sixth patriarch. Master Hui Neng said, you must realize the first hallmark of no thought, 无念的境界. 无念 means without thought. Then inquire, without thought, who are you? What are you? You will understand when you reach that state. That is why the initial training to be aware is very important. Spend time on it, stabilize it. Then you will progress in your meditation. Okay, now I will let you meditate on your own. I will now set the alarm so that you can have the 30 minutes of awareness-based meditation. The 4 supports: relax, aware, maintain awareness, and trust. For awareness-based meditation are very important. Allow your body and mind to be completely relaxed. Relax means don't do anything. Be at ease, let things be. Whatever arises, just aware. Because you are relaxed, all your stress, tensions, and whatever tightness and unrelaxed part within your physical and mental, they will slowly adjust itself and settle down to reach a state of still relaxation and be at ease. meaning you are truly relaxed. When you are truly and completely relaxed, it means that it is nothing troubling you. Your mind is at peace. Your physical body is without stress, without tension. When that physical body is so relaxed until you are completely without any tension or stress, that is your meditative body, and mind that is just aware and at ease. There is nothing to trouble the mind. You can just let things be. And the awareness nature stabilize. This awareness nature is your true mind, your inner or true nature, and your meditative silent mind. That awareness nature is very important, and you must stabilize and realize it. Okay, now I will let you meditate on your own for 30 minutes. 3.3 Post-meditation Dhamma sharing. You can now slowly and mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind states you need to live life and to develop the daily mindfulness, awareness, to be aware throughout the day, leading to heedfulness. Dhamma sharing by Brother Teo on the topic, what is the difference between awareness and consciousness? Brother Teo said, this question or topic is very good. What is the difference between awareness and consciousness? Understanding these two terms is very important. How many of you understand? Nobody understand? Cannot be after such a long period of sharing. Anybody wants to try answering it based on what you all have learned? Yes, Sister Engbi. Sister Engbi said, Brother Teo, this is just based on whatever I understand. Brother Teo said, you should understand, don't worry. Just answer based on what you understand, then it should be correct. Sister Engbi said, when one is conscious, it doesn't mean he is aware. He may be conscious in the sense that he can hear, he can see, he can feel the tactile sensation and whatever, but it doesn't mean that he is mindful or aware. He could be in a dreamy state. Brother Teo said, very good, yes. He could be heedlessly thinking or rattling off the thought process, etc. Thank you and sadhu. Brother Adam said, Brother Teo, we can still have awareness even though we are unconscious, right? For example, when we are in a hospital on the operating table, we can be aware of our surroundings even though we have been put to sleep under anesthesia. Brother Teo said, are you sure you can? When you are unconscious, you are knocked off. What you have heard is an out-of-the-body experience. OBE means the consciousness has come out of the body. When the consciousness come out, they can say, they can see, can hear, etc. They are like aware, but when they speak, the human beings cannot hear or see them. That one, the mind has come out, so is different. What Sister Ingbi is trying to explain is based on the normal meaning of these words. You see, as human beings, we have this conscious moment in life. What does conscious of life mean? It means you are not asleep. You are not in the unconscious or subconscious sleeping moods. But people who meditate, they can go into the sleeping mode, yet maintain awareness inside. That is possible, but you must be very good. You must have very stable mindfulness. That's why just now I asked you, when they sedate you, are you sure you can be aware? If you can, I will sadhu you because that one very few people can do. Understanding awareness nature within. This inner awareness is an awareness that is within your nature, which can be aware of outside, aware of whatever that goes on within your form and mind. So there is this inner awareness. Awareness has two stages. First stage of awareness is just the normal worldly awareness, which is from within or inside. You are aware of whatever that is going on. But most people are not aware because when their thought arises, they are lost in thought and no longer aware. But you have developed this training of the mind to be aware. You are always with your true mind, and your inner awareness is very stable and very different. Very, very different. That only can be aware of your thinking, your mental process, your consciousness, your whatever movements, whether physical or mental movements, or even nature's movements. This type of awareness has two modes. First is the specific phenomena awareness mode. It is just aware of the phenomenon, means the awareness and the phenomenon move as one. The other one is the awareness that is completely silent inside. It is a silent inner awareness without a center. We call it spacious awareness. Your awareness becomes one with nature, the oneness nature. It has merged into the surroundings. It is just a oneness nature because there is no center from which it will dwell. It has merged with the oneness. So those are the two modes of awareness. The second stage of awareness is the much more refined, a spiritual awareness born of the supra-mundane mind. The real meaning of sati. Awareness is equivalent to sati. The real meaning of sati is to be in a state of awareness before the knowing. When you are mindful, aware, that pure awareness before the knowing is sati. This is the reason why a lot of people fail to understand what consciousness is. Consciousness comes from the word conscious. When you become conscious, it means you are not in the sleeping mode. Then after you wake up, you become conscious. Conscious of what? Conscious of life, isn't it? Because you start to live life, you start to be in activities. So you are conscious of life, conscious of living. And you have these senses in your body that can allow you to be conscious of what you see, what you hear, smell, taste, tactile feel, and think. So these 6 senses bases can give rise to their respective 6 types of sense law consciousness. 9 types of consciousness as taught in Mahayana. In the Mahayana tradition, they are taught the 9 types of consciousness, but the usually taught and discussed are only the 8 types of consciousness. And because of this, Mahayana teachings are like very impressive. They will impress you with these 8 types of consciousness. They always start with 6 consciousness. 第六智. 第六色.
是啊, sorry.
第六识. Then the 7 consciousness, 第七识, and the 8 consciousness, 第八识. But for Theravada, we only know of one word, Vijnanam, and consciousness is always defined as Vijnanam. But this word is very deep in its meaning. That's why when it comes to the aggregates of mind, the Buddha always used the Pali words Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, and Vijnanam to refer to feelings, perceptions, mental states of formation, and consciousness respectively. Understanding Mano, Citta, and Vijnanam. There is another Pali word Citta. So what is the difference between Vijnanam and Citta? Then there is another Pali word Mano. When the Buddha taught Dhammapada verses 1 and 2, he always used the Pali word Mano and said, mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all mind arise. Mind made all things arise. Mind made are there. So here Mano is mind, the mundane or thinking mind. Then when it comes to the 4 foundation of mindfulness, the Buddha used the word Cittanupassana. And what is Cittanupassana? Mindfulness of what? Yes, mindfulness of content of consciousness. So this citta is basically your thoughts, and it arises after the contents of consciousness went in. This Vijnana, if you check the 12 links or the Paticca Samuppada or the law of dependent origination teaching, the first 2 links are Avijja, Paccaya, Sankara. Then Sankara, Paccaya, Vijnana. This is the one, this Vijnana is the 3rd link. This one is just the pure Vijnana consciousness without the contents yet. Once the content goes in, it becomes Vijnana Pachaya's Nama-rupa. This Nama-rupa is the thought, the mental five aggregates of form and mind. This is the one that the Buddha is interested in. In Paticca Samuppada teaching, this Nama-rupa is what the thought is all about. When you input the contents of consciousness, this Vijnana becomes conditioned into five aggregates of form and mind. This Vijnana, which is the pure consciousness, will become the thought once the content of consciousness goes in. Reason why the Buddha says, in the seeing, there is only the seeing consciousness, no one to see as yet. The egoic mind hasn't come in yet. At this stage, the contents haven't gone into the Vijnana. So what is happening? What is happening is, due to ignorance or dependent on ignorance, i.e. wanting to know, wanting to understand, and experience, we start to think. Then what is thinking? Sankhara activities are thinking. Thinking means you establish contact with the brain. Can you understand? When you think, you trigger off contact with the brain, then like the physics experiment analogy, what happened? The light bulb or mental consciousness will light up, right? So this Vijnana is mental consciousness without the contents as yet. Then from here, through your perception and brain's conditionings, you input the contents of consciousness through your Sankhara activities. Then with your views, your opinions, your conditions, etc., you react and stir your mind. All this create karma via karmic consciousness. This citta, the thought, has the content of consciousness, and this content can be wholesome or unwholesome, dependent on the mental intention, and this is what karma is all about. But in Theravada tradition, they tend to use these words citta, mano, and vijnana without much understanding regarding their differences. Most cultivators can't understand their differences. Sometimes they interuse these three words without proper, clear understanding. So the Mahayana teachings explaining the various 9 types of consciousness is very good. For Theravada tradition, they only know this one equivalent word, vijnana. But if cultivator can understand the true penetrative teaching of the Theravada tradition, then they can also understand this Mahayana teaching, because essentially there is no difference. Basically, it is just understanding how the 5 aggregates of form and mind can also give rise to the 8 types of consciousness as taught in Mahayana. The first 5 types of consciousness are relatively easy to understand. There are your 5 types of main physical sense door consciousness. You have your 5 physical senses, right? You have the eye, which can give rise to seeing consciousness. So seeing, hearing, smelling, taste and touch or tactile consciousness are the first 5 types of consciousness. Then what is the 6th consciousness? It is sanya, perception. What happens is when your eye sees something, initially like what the Buddha says, in the seeing there is only the seeing consciousness, no one to see as yet. That is the pure consciousness. Like the light bulb analogy used in the physics experiment, the light bulb just lights up upon contact of the battery, the bulb and the switch. This lighting up of the bulb is natural phenomenon. It is like make us conscious of what we see, hear and smell, etc. This is the pure consciousness without its contents. This pure seeing or perception is like in the case of a newborn baby, whose brain has got nothing. It cannot input any content because there is no conditioning, no views, no opinions, no learning as yet. So this is the pure mental consciousness that just arises naturally. After that, what do human beings or you do? Take for example, when you are looking at that painting or the Buddha image over there, Unless your mindfulness or sati is very stable, you cannot be at the moment of pure seeing before the perception. Can you do that? Very few people can do that, because the moment you see, you will perceive as you are so conditioned. And how do you see? You label through words, through concepts and ideas. Hence, you never really see. If you really see, seeing things as they are via the direct seeing, that thing has no word. That is the pure or direct seeing of an enlightened, awakened being. That is the reason why the Buddha said, in the seeing, there's only the seeing consciousness, no one to see as yet. Then the perception comes in. You start to perceive. So the sixth consciousness is perception. This perception links all the first five consciousness together with the brain. They are all connected to the mind, which is the common denominator. So when the mind perceives, the sixth consciousness arises, and the perception is the aggregate of mind that brings the external form into mind. And this external form is the sense data. At the moment of perception, that is the sixth consciousness. After that, what happened? Because we have this brain, with its views, opinions, and conditioning, etc., it will cause the mind to stir deludedly, because this brain, before you are enlightened, is still egoic. The egoic mind is the seventh consciousness, which is also the discriminating mind. After you perceive, what happened? Your brain, your memories with its conditionings, views, opinions, and belief system, etc., they will come out and act. And because you are not enlightened yet, this mind is egoic, hence it is discriminative. It will develop discrimination of likes and dislikes, pleasant and unpleasant reactions of mind. That is how the mind stirs, via creating mental hindrances or sensual desires, your likes, and ill will, your dislikes. Every moment of consciousness, when you see something, your mind tends to stir, because there is preference born of your likes and dislikes, pleasant and unpleasant reactions of mind. So if throughout the day, at every moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, tactile, and the thought process, you react and stir your mind, then what happens? You are creating mental hindrances all the time. Until it becomes habitual, this is what habitual tendencies are all about. When habitual tendencies develop, it becomes latent. We call it latent tendencies or anusaya in Pali. Very latent, like automatic. Immediately you see, straight away you will react. It is like reflex action, happening so fast because you are so conditioned. So this seven consciousness is one that creates karma. You create karma during this time. But the intensity depends on the full movements, which is the eight consciousness. This eight consciousness, the Mahayana call it the alaya or storehouse consciousness, storing up all the karmic accumulations. The eight consciousness is the resultant of the seven consciousness, because this seven consciousness is like an organ. Why is it termed the organ? It is because the perception that brings in the external sense data can trigger off the eight consciousness. But this one, even though it is the organ, brain, it is also the one that creates the discriminative views. This egoic and discriminative mind is basically very mundane mind. Is basically your mundane mind. They call it an organ. It's for you to develop understanding. So the perception brings in the external sense data, then upon contact of the mind triggers off the seven consciousness, and the thought the seven consciousness. Eight consciousness. Have you heard of mental concocting via Sankara, Sanya? Sanya is perception and Sankara is mental activity or thinking. The moment you perceive, you think. The moment you perceive, you think. So you create a concoction of the mind all the time. This is what happens. And these 6, 7, and 8 consciousness move very fast. Unless you are mindful, you cannot see them. But when you have the stability of mindfulness, you can be at the moment of consciousness, vijnana. You can even be at the moment of content of consciousness when it is input and forming this namarupang, you can see them. The whole citta, the thought, you can see them. Then before you stir your mind via your views, opinions and conditionings, you can also be aware of all these mental movements. That is how you can come to understand why the unenlightened living beings act according to memories. And why acting according to memories is not acting at all. Because that is the only instrument they know how to act with. Most of you act through what? Your views, opinion, knowledge, and memory, isn't it? That is the only instrument you know, but after you have understood the Dhamma, the truth, you are supposed to have wisdom and Dhamma understanding. That is why you must act according to Dhamma understanding and wisdom, following the Dhamma way, and that is true action. But how many of you can act that way? Hardly any, because most cultivators, first and second turning wisdom, the initial wisdom, yoniso manasikara, is not stable yet. It cannot come out and prompt them to act wisely. Instead, one straight away retrieve from memories and act based on what? Your fear, your phobia, your worries, your anxieties, your delusion, your selfishness, etc., via your egoic mind, which is deluded and discriminative. You will start to see all this at the beginning of your cultivation. And when your stability of daily mindfulness comes to be, you will see all this more clearly. Then you will naturally start to straighten your views, to act according to wisdom, and you will not do all those foolish and deluded things anymore. Because all these doings are about the wrong thoughts. And what are wrong thoughts? Thoughts that condition fear, worries, anxieties, sorrows, lamentations, insecurities, etc. And all these are sufferings. That's how wrong thoughts make you miserable.
Yeah, better rest. You need to rest. Maya, you want to take over? 3 types of right views, page 16. Anyway, thank you so much. Your reading very good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You know why? Fast, clear, and good. Although in between, sometimes you slip the word a bit because I think you start to develop that tiredness. Well, before that, you seldom make mistake. So don't worry. Need to rest, we rest. Okay, Manya, now your turn.
3 types of right views. Reason why in the teachings, the Buddha said, you must have right views, right thoughts, following the Noble Eightfold Path, born of right views. What are these right views? It is right understanding, born of wisdom. Reason why you need to act according to right understanding and wisdom, leading to true action, which means you act following the Noble Eightfold Path. Starting with the right view and right understanding, you act, and there are 3 major areas of right views or right understanding. They are, number 1, right understanding or right views with regards to the law of karma, karma niyama. That is how the advice of the Buddha comes about, how his teachings come about, and how the precepts he taught come about, and how the Noble Eightfold Path and the whole of his other teachings come about. Number 2, then the second right view is right view with regards to how you function as a human being, following the Paticca Samuppada, termed Citta Niyama, the nature's order of mind, how the mind functions following the 12 links or the Paticca Samuppada teaching of the Buddha. And number 3, the third one is the right view with regards to the essential Dhamma, all of truth, and the Dhamma that Buddha teaches. which is termed Dhamma Niyama. So these three right views of Karma Niyama, Chitta Niyama, and Dhamma Niyama are very powerful and very important right views or truths. These 6, 7, and 8 consciousness are nothing more than our 5 aggregates of form and mind. The moment the 6th consciousness arises, it is still pure perception, no discrimination yet. But the moment you act according to your views, opinions, and conditionings and belief system, then your egoic and discriminative mind surfaces. This is where all the problem starts. This is where all the wrong thoughts, the discrimination, and stirring of the mind happen. These reactions and stirrings of the mind arise because this one is still unenlightened, hence without wisdom. But the moment you are enlightened, even as a Sotapanna, you will have the right understanding. The first 3 factors of self-delusion, doubt, and attachment to rites and rituals are already severed. They already know that this form and mind is not real, not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling onto, grasp onto, and hold on to as the me and the I. Because this ego, the egoic mind, has been attenuated until like it has the understanding that there is nobody inside there. It will then also understand anicca, dukkha, and anatta. That's why when you are a Sotapanna, the first stage of sainthood, you are already safe. But there are still other factors that can affect them, because the Sotapanna still have sensual desires, ill will, and aversion, but not strong. The moment they realize Sakadagami, the second stage of sainthood, their sensual desire and aversion are attenuated, with very little left. That is why the moment they become Anagami, the third stage of sainthood, sensual desires and ill will are completely rooted out. Then during that time, the last 5 factors, they still must work on it until finally the last factor, avijja, ignorance, also gone. The last 5 factors are attachments to form and formless jhana, mana, minor conceit, restlessness of mind, and avijja. The moment all these last factors are rooted out, this discriminative mind no more because it has awakened, and the 5 aggregates of form and mind will become pure aggregates, no more grasping or upadana, khandha. Do you know what pure aggregate is? Pure because it is non-grasping, no more egoic mind to grasp and cling at feelings, cling at what you perceive, and cling at mental activities or sankhara, mental states that are being conditioned into. Then, whatever you become conscious of through your 8 consciousness, you will not be deceived because of your awareness and wisdom. Then you will know how to act, and you will know how to input the pure content of consciousness. These are the 8 types of consciousness the Mahayana teaches. They are just the 5 aggregate of form and mind, nothing more. The 6th consciousness is Sanya aggregate. The 7th consciousness is the Sankhara aggregate. The egoic mind, the discriminative mind, is basically Sankhara, mental activities or mental concocting. This mental concoction is very active when you are heedless. Before you develop the ability to be aware and mindful, you cannot see all this because they act very fast. Split seconds, you already get angry, become emotional, and you want to hit out at others. Importance of heedfulness. That is the reason why when the Buddha taught sati, he emphasized on heedfulness. Without heedfulness, you cannot deal with life. You are unable to understand life. To understand life, you must be heedful. And to be heedful, there are 2 parts. Dhammapada verse 23 said, the constantly meditative, ever mindful and steadfast one, meaning if one keeps to these two practices, one will realize the supreme born-free enlightenment, nibbana, means assured of enlightenment in the here and the now. As the saying goes, the heedful never dies, whereas the heedless are as if dead. Dhammapada verse 21 also expressed the same. Then he said, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. It means you will have eternal life. You will never die ignorant, hence no more rebirth due to avijja. Imply you will eventually realize arahantship, the fourth stage of sainthood and beyond. So this path, ever mindful and constantly meditative, means constantly cultivating Noble Eightfold Path, is what heedfulness is. When you combine these two, you are heedful amid life. You must be heedful, not only when you are in a retreat, in formal meditation, but also while in the midst of life. Not only your daily mindfulness sati must be very stable, but you must also have clear comprehension as well. That's the reason why it is mentioned in the teaching. Your sati sampajana, mindfulness and clear comprehension, must also be very stable. Avijja Sutta. In the Avijja Sutta, it is clearly stated that this sati sampajana is step 5 of the 10 steps leading to enlightenment. The Buddha mentioned this in the Avijja Sutta. You can go to our website at broteo.com and check. It is all there. There are 10 steps for you to follow to develop the cultivation so that you can realize enlightenment in the here and the now. And the first 3 steps, all kalyanimittas will have. What is the first step? Yes, to have noble friends, or kalyamittas, spiritual Dharma friends. If you are part of our kalyamittas, how can you not have Dharma friends? You surely have a lot, and there are 2 types of kalyamittas. One is just ordinary or normal Dharma friends who walk the path of Dharma to cultivate and progress along the path of Dharma. The other one is Dharma friends who have Dharma, and that one is more difficult to find. As mentioned by Sister Ingvi just now, these noble friends who have the Dharma, they can really guide and teach you. They can show you the way. So this first step is having Dharma friends is very important. All kalyamittas will have this attribute. Then the second step, also you all will have. Why? Because if you have kalyamittas, you will know when there are Dharma sessions. You will know when there are Dharma sessions or classes. Like our class, we have our Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday weekly classes, right? Then when we have Dharma talks in the temple and other places, you all will be notified. So having the opportune time to constantly listen to the true Dharma is step 2, and this listening to the true Dharma is very important step, because from this step 2, you get to develop step 3 and step 4. What is step 3? Should be very easy, isn't it? After you have listened to the true Dharma, what will happen to you? No. Your practice, of course, you carry on separately. But when you listen to the true Dharma, what do you develop? Yes, first and second turnings wisdom leading to faith in the Buddha and his teachings. First turning wisdom is Sutta Maya Panya, wisdom born of hearing the Sutta, discourses of the Buddha. So if you keep listening to the true Dharma, you will continuously straighten your views, right? That's how you develop Sutta Maya Panya. Then if you are still not so sure of the teaching, what must you do? So the Buddha said, you must reflect, contemplate, and inquire into them. Like, why did the Buddha say all those? Like the First Noble Truths, 8 realities, you should go through them one by one. Why did the Buddha say birth is suffering? Old age, sickness, and death are also suffering. How can I understand them? I need to reflect, contemplate, and investigate it to see whether it stands up to investigation or not. This is the second turning wisdom, termed Chittamaya Panya. But most of us nowadays tend to associate birth with joy, looking forward to being a grandparent or to being a daddy or mommy. Then looking forward to the full moon day. You only think of the good things, but you never think of problematic things arising when there are complications during the birth process. Not all birth processes are smooth sailing. There can be complication. Sometimes the complication can be very traumatic. If the complication is such that the doctor comes out and asks you, which one you want to save, the mother or the child, I can tell you such a test is not easy to pass. Of course, you can request the doctor to save both. But the doctor will tell you, I will try my best, but you must decide, otherwise it will be very difficult. Especially so when the birth is an unusual birth. They call it breech, where the leg comes out first, not the head. When there is a complication, they must do something. But nowadays they can have cesarean birth. They can cut open the womb and take it out. But if it's choked inside there for too long, not enough oxygen, and the mother doesn't have enough strength or energy to push, it can die inside. That's why the doctor must act fast, and they will do whatever they can. So, when there is complication, only do we understand why birth is suffering. Then we can contemplate and reflect further. The moment there is birth, what follows? Old age, sickness, and death, right? So the Buddha is correct. Birth is truly suffering. Birth is not what you think. If you don't have the wisdom to accept the reality of the moment, then suffering will arise because birth, old age, sickness, and death, all these are First Noble Truths, realities, common to all humanity. If you live life long enough, you must confront them, and whether you suffer or you don't suffer depends on your wisdom, your Dharma understanding, to understand all this. That's why the 5 daily contemplations of the Buddha are very important. The Buddha said, you must reflect and contemplate that this body of mine is of the nature to grow old, get sick and die. For it has not gone beyond old age, sickness and death. For it goes the way of nature, and is non-self, dependent, originating, condition arising, not a permanent, unchanging entity, hence not me, and I must not cling onto it via saying, this is me, this is I, and all this can be mine. If I attach and cling to this body, what happens? I will worry about it getting old, sick, and dying. And I will suffer because I believe this is me. This is the ego, the personality. But instead, this one is just a vehicle and tool, karmically conditioned out for you to come to this existential world to use. So use it wisely and not be deluded by it. This body is only elements, has got no knowing, and it goes the way of nature. So how can it be you? And moreover, these elements are always in a state of flux, dependent originating, and condition arising, following nature's conditions. Similarly, you can see how these 5 aggregates of form and mind, the human being, with its life force animating you into a human being, is also dependent originating, hence not a permanent, unchanging entity. With awareness-based meditation, you will see and understand all this in the meditation. That's how the Buddha's mind freed. Remember, the Buddha saw the 4 signs and he left the palace in search for enlightenment, to seek answers to the problems of old age, sickness, and death. The 4th sign is a holy man, a samana. That is why he chose to go the spiritual way, to meditate. When he meditates and realizes this law of dependent origination, the paticca samuppada, he realized the form and mind is not a permanent, unchanging entity, hence not him, and his problem is gone or no more. Birth, old age, sickness, and death have got nothing to do with him. He pertains to the form and mind. He pertains to the form and mind, the human being. With this wisdom, he went into cessation and realized Nibbana and his true nature within. That is how he frees. So this is the understanding that can unfold. The three turnings, wisdom and uniso manasikara. When you listen to the true Dharma, you will develop a lot of contemplative wisdom via constant contemplation, reflection, and investigation. When it stands up to investigation, your faith becomes very strong. Faith in the Buddha and his teaching is step 3. Listening to the true Dharma can bring about the first and second turnings wisdom. With this first and second turning wisdom cultivated, your understanding will start to stabilize and you become very confident. You can assimilate all these understandings into your nature. That is how uniso manasikara, the initial wisdom born of first and second turnings, wisdom of Suttamaya Panya and Chittamaya Panya, come to be. When this wisdom stabilizes, you will have this uniso manasikara, initial wisdom. Then the next time when you fall sick, get old and about to die, that understanding will surface to let you understand that this form and mind is impermanent, dependent originating, and condition arising, hence not a permanent unchanging entity, not you, non-self and empty. This understanding straight away will free you because you clearly understand that this body is not me. It goes the way of nature. It will grow old, get sick and die. So let it be. When conditions are like that, things will be like that. Just accept that reality and you will be free. 5 daily contemplations. That is why the first 3 of the 5 daily contemplations that the Buddha said, this body of mine is of the nature to grow old, get sick and die, for it has not gone beyond old age, sickness and death. It is very important, and every day you must reflect and contemplate upon them. The 4th contemplation is separation from your loved ones and prized possessions. Separation will occur because these are all dependent originating entities or phenomena. Dependent on the conditions they arise. When the conditions cease to be, they cease to be. That's why they will separate from you one day. Even when you are still around, you may think you own them, but when your breath stops, your identity will be erased and you will be separated from them. Separation from loved ones, your prized possessions, and the things that you hold on to dearly will happen, because this is a reality which you can't escape. When it happens, you have the Dharma, you can accept what happens, because all these are dependent originating and conditions arising entities within the phenomenal world of consciousness. They are just phenomena arising and passing away, following nature's law, and they have the universal characteristics of impermanence, leading to suffering, i.e., when you attach and cling on to them, you suffer, because they are impermanent, hence empty and non-self, not what you think. All these understandings will surface, and this wisdom will free your mind. This is how you develop clear, penetrative understanding. Then every time you see something, this wisdom will surface. He is just the way he is. The world is the world. When conditions are like that, things will be like that. It will not stir your mind anymore. Even if he says something very abusive, very hurtful, and difficult for most people to endure, with your understanding, you can still accept him for what he is. and you can still have compassion and love towards him. Like Jesus saying, forgive him, for he knows not what he is doing, because he is what he is. Deluded people do deluded things. Angry people say angry things. Abusive people say abusive things. They are just the way they are. And if I have this understanding, born of Uniso Manasikara, I can come to terms with reality. I can accept him as he is. Then I am at peace. But I still must act. It doesn't mean that I don't act and let him do what he likes. If I can apply the Noble Eightfold Path understanding with the right view, then I don't get angry. I don't stir my mind or react to what happened. Then he will not become violent. If you can say, I am sorry, if I have caused you any misunderstanding, I really would like to apologize. The whole scenario would be different, right? Instead, if you try to justify and argue with him, you can get into big trouble. So why not develop the right speech and right action to resolve it amicably via saying, if I had caused you any misunderstanding or harm, I would like to sincerely apologize. I am sorry and thank you for your kind understanding. The moment you start to apologize, he will also tone down and say, don't worry, small matter. I am also at fault and the matter gets resolved amicably. Otherwise, if you hit his ego, he is going to be more and more angry, because chances are he doesn't have Dharma understanding. You don't expect him to be like an angel, ever ready to forgive you. So all these are part and parcel of how one can apply the teachings. The Buddha said, after you have listened to the true Dharma, you can reflect and contemplate to develop the first and second turnings wisdom. Then you put it to test. And if it stands up to investigation, step 3 of Avijja Sutta, which is faith in the Buddha and his teachings, will be established. Then step 4 is when you have the initial wisdom, Uniso Manasikara. When you have Uniso Manasikara, do you know what will happen to you? You become less reactive amidst life because of this initial wisdom. After that, you will not heedlessly stir or react to sense experiences like before. That is how you develop more equanimity. You will have more understanding to be more at peace with whatever arises within your mind. That is how you can have more and more moments of silence, more and more awareness, leading to more and more space between thoughts. That is how your daily mindfulness can stabilize. Without Uniso Manasikara, the Buddha says, step 5, which is Sati Sapanjana, cannot happen. You need to have spiritual faculties to develop the step 5's meditative mind, Sati Sapanjana. And this meditative mind needs to realize the wisdom, the initial wisdom born of listening to the true Dharma and the contemplative reflection on the Dharma. This initial wisdom is Uniso Manasikara. And when this wisdom stabilizes, step 5 is established. Then step 6 and 7 will follow. Do you know what step 6 is? Step 6 is self-restraint. Sense restraint. When your initial wisdom develops, your Sati Sampaññana, daily mindfulness with clear comprehension, becomes stable. Then you can see your defilements, your evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. You can see them all. What constitutes evil, you will also understand. Then you can follow the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. But how does one avoid all evils? Keep the precepts. How does one keep the precepts? By reciting and cultivating. I undertake the training rules to abstain from all these, killing and causing harm to fellow living beings, lying, committing sexual misconduct, etc. clearly seeing the danger of breaking precepts via contemplating who will kill, who will harm, violent people, angry people, deluded people, and selfish people with all the three evil roots. You can see your subtle craving, subtle desire, subtle ego manifesting, via wanting to be right, wanting to argue. So all these you will start to see them. Three evil roots and meaning of Manusaya, Asawa, and Kilesa. Kilesa are normal defilements. Manusaya are negative habitual tendencies, i.e., defilements that have become habitual. These movements from your Anusaya inside can be very latent, always wanting to erupt. These are Asawa, very strong defilements, which are very latent and very active inside. Have you all heard of these Pali words, Kilesa, Asawa, and Anusaya? All these come about because during your daily life, you don't have daily mindfulness. You are not heedful, you are heedless. And heedlessness gives rise to all these mental hindrances that make your behavior so negative and habitual. These develop into habitual tendencies which can be very latent. When it becomes very latent inside, it is like asawa hidden inside, waiting for conditions to arise, to erupt and shoot out. Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body, meaning emotional negativity. When nobody disturbs you, it is dormant and not active. But when people step on your tail or toe, that pain body is triggered off. That is why we call it the pain body, or in Pali we call it asawa, very strong defilements. All these are very active and latent, said the Buddha. So without daily mindfulness and initial wisdom developed, you cannot deal with sense experiences having such defilements. At every instance of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, tactile and thought process, you cannot cope and handle because they move so fast. It is like they all arise simultaneously. When you come out to live life, you must act, you must see, you must make decisions, and everything moves so fast, and if you don't have mindfulness, you cannot be at the moment of seeing, hearing, smell, taste, and tactile consciousness to understand what is going on. You have no time to think. Moreover, thinking will not help you understand. What you need is wisdom and understanding. That is why this initial wisdom is spontaneous. It will come out and prompt you to develop the understanding spontaneously, thereby enabling you to act with understanding, following the Dharma way. You no longer act with delusion and ignorance via memories. You will act with Noble Eightfold Path. You will have the right view to accept the reality of the moment first. Then your mind cannot stir. There is clarity of mind. Then you know what your options are and how to resolve issues or things amicably. You will also know how to give rise to the right speech, right thought, right action, and you will live your life according to the right livelihood. But before that, you must constantly train your mind via diligently cultivating the 4 right efforts to abandon the wrong thoughts, wrong speeches, and wrong actions that had arisen. Then later, when your initial wisdom stabilizes, you can give rise to the 2nd right effort to prevent them from arising. When you can prevent them from arising, it means you already have sent restraint, which is step 6 of the Avijja Sutta. You will come to know these are wrong thoughts that condition your evil roots to make you evil, thereby causing you suffering. Then straight away the wrong thoughts will subside because of your wisdom born of the initial wisdom. When you can have sense restraint, it means your precepts will be in order by then. You will not make mistakes anymore. That is why Buddha said, after this step 6, step 7 will arise. And what is step 7? It is the 3 ways of right conduct. You will have this ability to act correctly, and this right speeches, right actions, and right thoughts will always be with you. That is why these first 7 steps of Avijja Sutta are very powerful. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, and 4 foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha said, if you have finished these first 7 steps, you are at least a Sotapanna, if not a Sakadagami, because after step 7 is step 8. Step 8 is the cultivation of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And do you know what these 4 foundations of mindfulness cultivation are all about? It always starts with what? Yes, after overcoming consciousness and grief, then only you can start to cultivate the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So, without steps 6 and 7 cultivated, do you think you can overcome consciousness and grief? Consciousness and grief? If you can't even have sense restraint, you cannot have the 3 ways of right conduct, then how can you overcome consciousness and grief? No way. That is why after that, only you can go into the 4 foundations of mindfulness cultivation. And after you have the first 5 steps cultivated, and after you have the first 7 steps cultivated, the 4 foundations of mindfulness cultivation will be very easy. It's like you just breeze through, because the following trainings are already there. The initial wisdom, daily mindfulness, and clear comprehension are all so stable already. That is why all the words that the Buddha mentioned under the 4 foundations of mindfulness cultivation, I understand, and I know what those things are, not according to what most books try to explain to you through their commentaries. Nothing to do with all those thought-based noting, training, and doings. It is the awareness that is aware. In Kaya Nupassana, Vedana Nupassana, Chitta Nupassana, and Dhamma Nupassana, the Buddha always say, mindfulness of the body, in the body, internally and externally. Do you know what these are? Internally means within your own kaya, the 4 postures with all the movements and activities. Sati Sampajana, the daily mindfulness, you can be aware internally. You can see all these activities. That's why Kaya Nupassana is to train your mindfulness to stabilize it. Then after that, when you can be mindful within, you can also be mindful of outside or externally. That is why at that time, nobody taught me. I also hadn't heard of all these types of sutta at that time. But somehow, I can see my awareness, especially my specific phenomena awareness. It is always with all the phenomenon that moves. Then I saw one Chao Kway Teow, frying rice noodles guy, and I was so amazed, like I was inside him doing the Chao Kway Teow. All his actions and movements are like my mind and awareness is inside him doing all those things. That is externally. Then feeling also same. You can feel and sense people's feelings outside. You can sense their contents of consciousness. They have become one. All these are possible because your sensitivity of mindfulness, your wisdom and your understanding are there. Then you can also feel nature, the energy within nature, and the great beings' nature, you can also feel them. You can draw from them, and people who are cultivating, they draw from your nature, and you can know they are around. Your nature is everywhere. Their nature is everywhere. That is why these great beings' nature, they are ever radiating for the cultivators of the way. When you start to cultivate the 4 foundations of mindfulness, that is step 8 of Avijja Sutta. The Buddha says, during step 8, you will start to experience the 7 factors of enlightenment. They keep on arising when you have done it correctly, in accordance with what he taught you, meaning you are on the right path. Dhammanupassana. When it comes to Dhammanupassana, there are 5 categories of practices. The first category is mindfulness of the 5 mental hindrances of mind. And this mindfulness of the 5 mental hindrances you will clear very fast because your daily mindfulness is already there. Then you can understand why the Buddha says there are 5 ways to overcome unwholesome thoughts, like the 5 mental hindrances. The first way is to think of the direct opposite wholesome thought, which is still thought-based. That one you can skip. The second one is to think of the consequences and the danger of allowing this unwholesome thought to continue. Because this is a wrong thought and unwholesome thought with evil roots, it will make you evil. So you must decide to abandon them. The third way is the meditative way, where one just silence one's mind and maintain awareness within. When there is restlessness, sensual desires, sloth and torpor, ill will, and doubt in your mind, no need to do anything. Just silence your mind and be with it. The Buddha gave the analogy of the pool of water. Can you remember? He asked Ananda to collect the water for him. Initially, the first 2 times water was milky. Why? Because the bullock cart passed by, stirred the water, hence was not fit for drinking. But at night he went again. The water was cleared. He took the water back with joy, and the Buddha asked him what he had learned. The Buddha later explained to Anatta, when the bullock cart did not go across and you let it settle out long enough, what will happen? The sediments all settle down, so clear water can be collected. Your mind is the same. Its original state is stillness, tranquility, and awareness. Therefore, all these so-called anger, hatred, emotions, sankhara activities, feelings, perceptions, consciousness, etc., are not intrinsic, but they are dependent, originating mental phenomena. Meditate to find out. When you see something, why did you get angry? Become emotional, restless, or let your sensual desires arise? Can you just silence your mind and stay with it? Then find out what happens. The mind will settle down because these are dependent originating mind states. It needs conditions for it to continue to be angry, or continue to be lustful or agitated. But because you silence your mind and don't do anything, just let the awareness be, then what happens? When the supporting conditions are no longer there, they will all settle down and cease. Initially, the sankhara will start to slow down. The emotions, etc., all will slow down and disperse. Then you will realize the true mind again, thereby realizing the original mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature within. Then you realize there is peace, there is tranquility, there is stillness. There is no more agitation, no more stress. Then you come to understand like what the Buddha said in the Sutta. You will come to know how the unarisen sensual desire or ill will comes to be. That is, through one of your senses, because before you get angry, there was no anger, right? Then how did you get angry? When people say something you don't like, or you recall or see something that makes you unhappy, your mind stirs. So it is through one of your senses. That is why you will come to know how the unarisen mental hindrance comes to be. Then when you meditate via the third way and the fourth way to trace the origination factors and then retrospectively reverse it, you will develop the understanding to understand how these arisen mental hindrances cease to be when you don't do anything except via maintaining just an awareness within. So finally, when you get to know how the unarisen one arises and how the arisen one ceases, it means you know how to free your mind. After you have wisdom and understanding, you can straighten your views. Then you will come to know how in the future this mental hindrance will never arise again in you. That is what the Satipatthana Sutta cultivation is all about. That is how you should meditate, not according to what you had read via the commentaries without proper understanding. Meditation must be done with understanding.
We stop here, huh? We mark this page. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for helping out to read. Okay. So, anybody got any suggestion to recite or chant any sutta? Then we do the usual one. Tawicho and Hatsuta. Namo 大悲观世音菩萨，南无大悲观世音菩萨，南无大悲观世音菩萨。南无何来丹那多来呀耶，南无阿利婆卢揭谛湿婆拉耶，菩提萨埵婆耶，摩诃萨埵婆耶，摩诃迦卢尼迦耶，安萨婆来法音，丹那丹谢，南无悉吉利多伊蒙阿利耶，婆卢揭谛湿佛那楞陀婆，南无那来谨墀悉利摩诃盘陀萨弥萨婆尔他都苏盆，尔时云萨婆萨多，南无婆萨多，南无婆揭摩法特多，但知他安阿婆卢悉卢迦帝迦卢帝。 依悉利摩诃菩提萨埵萨婆萨婆摩来摩来摩悉摩悉利陀云居卢居卢羯摩嘟噜嘟噜发舍耶帝诃发舍耶帝陀来陀来帝利尼是佛来耶则来则来摩摩发摩来目的利依悉依悉是来是来而来生佛来舍利发沙发生佛来舍耶呼噜呼噜摩来呼噜呼噜悉利娑来娑来悉利悉利疏噜疏噜菩提耶菩提耶菩陀耶菩陀耶弥地利耶那来金持地利舍利那婆耶摩来萨婆诃悉多耶萨婆诃摩诃悉多耶萨婆诃悉多于意识盘来耶萨婆诃那来金持萨婆诃摩来那来萨婆诃悉来生阿穆揭耶萨婆诃萨婆摩诃阿悉多耶萨婆诃则即来阿悉多耶萨婆诃波陀摩揭悉多耶萨婆诃那来金持盘揭来耶萨婆诃摩婆利胜揭来耶萨婆诃南无荷来丹那多来呀耶南无阿利耶婆卢揭谛是盘来耶萨婆诃安悉登多曼多来巴多耶萨婆诃。揭谛揭谛波罗揭谛波罗僧揭谛菩提萨婆诃揭谛揭谛波罗揭谛波罗僧揭谛菩提萨婆诃揭谛揭谛波罗揭谛波罗僧揭谛菩提萨婆诃观自在菩萨行深般若蜜多时，照见五蕴皆空，度一切苦厄。舍利子，色不异空，空不异色，色即是空，空即是色。受想行识亦复如是，舍利子。 自诸法空相不生不灭不垢不净不增不减，是故空中无色无受想行识，无眼耳鼻舌身意，无色声香味诸法，无眼界乃至无意识界，无明亦无明尽，乃至无老死亦无老死尽，无苦集灭道无智义，无得亦无所得故，菩提萨埵般若蜜多故，心无挂碍，无挂碍故，无有恐怖，远离颠倒梦想，究竟涅槃三世诸佛以般若蜜多故的阿耨多罗三藐三菩提故知，般若蜜多是大神咒，是大明咒，是无上咒，是无等咒，能除一切苦真实不虚，故说般若蜜多咒，即说咒曰：揭谛般若揭谛般若僧，揭谛菩提萨婆诃，揭谛般若揭谛般若僧，揭谛菩提萨婆诃，揭谛般若揭谛般若僧，揭谛菩提萨婆诃。萨埵萨埵萨埵。Okay, I think we will now share merit, transfer merit, and we will end. Let us rejoice with all the wholesomeness and good sharing that we have developed, and may all these merits, wholesomeness that we have together accrue be shared by all, starting with the devas. Akasatta cha Bhumata Deva Naga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anumoditwa Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasana Ita Wata Jamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang me nyatinang hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Imam me nyatinang hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyatinang hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Devo vasatu kalena Sasa sampati hetu cha
Trito bhavatu lokocha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imena punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, all the great beings and worthy ones. Then after that, we end.
Dear all, let us pay respect and gratitude to the Triple Gem and Brother Teo. Bow. 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 Thank you. 福慧增长，悲智双应。Good night.
Good night. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.